Hey everyone, Michelle Anderson, Director of Operations and Administration here with you today. Pastor David asked me to do another devotion with an update on our financial position now that we're through the summer and over 6 months into this pandemic. This pandemic has caused us to do things differently from our normal, from drive-in and recorded worship to a closed building with no rentals or preschool, no community gatherings on site, and a real time of burrowing in at home and seeing our home family, but not our church family. It's been weird. And I know it's caused a lot of people to feel alone and disconnected, lost even, and I get that. This is all just so weird. So many times I don't even know what to do. Some days are peaceful and a gift. Others are me standing in a room looking around like, why did I come in here and what am I even doing? And then spending 15 minutes watching the robot vacuum, just because. As things start to reopen and some take chances with group gatherings, I wonder daily, what's the right thing to do? It's hard to know, but I encourage everyone who's missing their church family to find your church directory. And if you don't have one, call the office, we'll get you one. So find your church directory, open it up, and find a friend or even just a friendly face and call them just to say, hey, I miss seeing you at church and wanted to check in and see how you're doing. Can you imagine if everyone in our church did that? It'd be so much fun. Weird, yes, but no more weird than the world we're living in today, am I right? Imagine the connections you'd make, the joy you would feel, the joy you could bring to others, and new friends or just connections you could make. Or maybe it'll be a bunch of laughs because it's all so awkward and weird. Let me encourage you to do it. And if you want to start with someone who you know is awkward but will tell stories with no shame, call me. So if you remember from the beginning, the devotion was to be an update on our financial position now that we're through the summer. How did that other stuff relate? No idea, but welcome to Random Distractions with Michelle. And now to the point, let me just switch to sharing my screen. All right. So because of the pandemic, our building was closed. This posed many challenges to our mission and to our financial position. Our mission is transforming lives through Christ-centered community, and now our community had nowhere to gather. We continued our mission through drive-in and recorded worship, outdoor baptisms, recognition of graduates, a youth mission trip, sidewalk chalk day and other activities for our kiddos, biking with PD. Our big church kids gathered on top of their cars in the parking lot to stay connected. We had outdoor preschool graduation and online activities like VBS and preschool packets and calling each other to check in because we are the church and God is always with us, whether the building is opened or closed or whether we are closer than 6 feet or not. And as we've traveled this long road of this pandemic, activities have broadened, all that other stuff, plus small groups are meeting. The morning walkers continue their health ministry. Small gatherings are being held and our building is open to COVID compliant rental groups. This pandemic posed a challenge to our mission, and through it all, our mission continues. The building may be shut down, but the church never is. The pandemic also posed a challenge to our finances. With the building closed, we had no rental income and no preschool income. Those two items brought in about $245,000 in 2019. And during this time in 2020 that we've been closed, we were budgeted to bring in about $130,000 in rental and preschool income and brought in only $75,000. That's $55,000 of income lost during this time. And with a delayed preschool opening and limited rentals, we're expected to be short about $93,000 in these two areas. So this was our challenge. And here's what we did to mitigate the impact. We applied for the CARES Act Paycheck Protection Program grant. We received $115,014 to keep paying our employees during our initial shutdown. We also used that money to pay for some utilities during that time. These were two things you could use the money for, and that's what we did. Because we followed all stipulations, that money is expected to become a grant, which means it will not have to be repaid. Another thing we did was ask to have our mortgage deferred for 6 months. That was granted, and so we were able to push off our monthly payment of $20,219 from April until September. And to date, we've deferred over $100,000 of needed cash. We also applied for an Anoka County CARES grant for $10,000 for organizations who've experienced financial loss due to COVID. The decision date is within a few weeks, so that's not a certainty, but I thought I would include it in here because we do believe we have a really good chance of receiving that money. We also liquidated our endowment fund of $16,745 with permission and the commitment to reestablish it in the future. We've also reduced expenses given our new operations and have saved about $45,000 to date. And you, faithful people of Lord of Life, have continued your financial support of our collective mission. Through August 2020, our general giving is just over $1,000 more than what was given last year at this time. That's awesome. Our capital giving is down compared to this time last year by about $36,000. So if there's anyone watching who wants to make a capital gift of, say, I don't know, $35,000, $36,000, call me. An additional unexpected project was Streaming for Jesus. Our need to move to recorded worship was met with the realization that our equipment just wasn't up to it. Tom Jurgens led the campaign. Anonymous donors stepped up with a $15,000 match, and we collected $28,545,000 plus a $2,000 grant from the ELCA to provide $30,545 total project funds to upgrade our equipment to offer a quality recorded or live streamed worship experience. And that was all you. I should never be surprised how Lord of Lifers step up when there's a need, and yet every time I'm just amazed and in awe how Lord of Lifers step up to each challenge, not flashy, not for recognition, but quietly because of your faith and commitment to God in this church. Thank you. Rolling out the Streaming for Jesus project in its entirety will take a few months, but hopefully you're already noticing the crisper video in our most recent recordings. So like they say on TV, stay tuned. So this has been a lot of talking, which I know you've come to expect from me. So here's the summary. With all the challenges and changes, here are the forecasts through the end of the year. So we'll start here. I've been doing these projections since June. So I started these from July 1st going forward. So we have actual numbers for July and August. And you can see the projected cash, total use of cash through the end of the year is just over $78,000. When I started accumulating this, it was July 1st. So the cash balance at that time was just over $167,000. And so we are predicted to end our year with a cash balance of right around $90,000. For 2020, when we created our budget back in December, we expected to end the year with $17,642 of cash. That's our budgeted end of year cash. Our predicted end of year cash being almost $90,000 means that we are projecting a cash gain in 2020 of almost $72,000. Now that's using these assumptions here. No preschool, which we may still. We're just trying to be conservative. Reduced rentals, 6 months of deferred mortgage, no fall fundraising, such as the Holiday Bazaar, and that our CARES Act PPP loan will be 100% forgiven, which we fully anticipate since we use the money for exactly what it was meant for. So a $72,000 projected cash gain. To just give you some perspective, here are the cash balances this time of year last year. So for August 2019, at the end of the month, we had $48,992. We started off the year with almost $150,000. So by August, we had used or burned through cash. Our cash burn was over $100,000. For 2020, right now we're sitting at $165,555. We started the year with $68,000. So we've actually had a net gain of cash year to date of almost $97,000. So if you'd like to see the detailed spreadsheets, call me at church or email me and I'll send them out to you. The information and all the financial details are presented at our monthly council meetings, which you are always invited to. And they're also available to you in the office in the church council meeting minutes binder, which is available at any time. And y'all know I love to talk about this stuff, so let's chat if you have questions. And remember, if there's anyone feeling compelled to make a capital gift of, say, $36,000, call me. That would put us right back on budget. So truly faithful people of Lord of Life in our community, thank you for continuing God's work and our mission during this weird time. Thank you to our staff and leadership too for your hard work, your constant contributions, your ability to pivot, and the tough decisions you continue to face. And you do so with continual focus on God's calling, our mission, and our people. Mission first, people always. Let's close with a prayer. Dear God, thank you for Lord of Life, its mission, and its people. We're here to do your will and your work, however you may call us. Thank you for your faithfulness in guiding us through this strange, weird time we're in right now, and providing the support we need to continue our shared mission within our community. Thank you for your light to show the way. I pray, Lord, that today we may all be a light to others in some way, through our words or through our actions, and that you'll nudge us and give us all 10 seconds of courage today to open up our church directory and call someone to connect, to continue our sense of community during this pandemic, and to see opportunities, not just obstacles, when we look through your lens of faith and hope. Even and especially during this weird time. Help us all to stay focused on you and fill us with love for one another, for all people, because there's nothing this world needs more today than you and your love and your grace. Help us to be that to everyone we meet today. We believe that you, God, are bigger than all the problems of this world. You are the Almighty, the great healer and comforter, and you are the King. And we are all sons and daughters of you, our King, loved by a King, and called simply to love you and love others. May we do that in abundance today for you and for your glory and for your kingdom. Thank you, God. We love you. Amen. Thanks, everybody.